So we continue our series in the Wisdom for Living, specifically navigating singleness, courtship, preparing for marriage, and work-life balance. Work-life. So last week I started this, and we said that in your singleness, it's important that you don't treat singleness as some kind of waiting room. Okay? It must be a season of intentional growth, preparation, and purpose. And while you are there, now this is not restricted to singleness, is that you always put God first, or put Jesus first always. Luke 14:26. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father, mother, wife, children, brothers, and sisters, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. That's Luke 14:26. In other words, there must not be anything in your life that you hold at a higher priority than Jesus. And we said hating there means, or only refers to, preference. Okay? It's a word which has to do with preference. Both in the Old and the New Testament, that word has nothing to do with this test, but it has everything to do with preference. You know, in Tuesdays and earlier, we looked a lot about cultural context, historical context. I need to say this. The way marriage was viewed in the earliest biblical days in the ancient Near East, even in the early New Testament times, it's not the same way we tend to look at marriage lately. And in fact, I think that's why sometimes marriages tend to give up more easily these days than they did those days, because the reasons people came together are not the same reason people come together today. And it's sad, and I'm going to talk about this, that we have put a lot of premium on butterflies. Anybody know what butterflies are? Butterflies in the stomach as a means of marrying someone, as opposed to other more weightier issues. So while you are not married, you must set clear goals for your life. You must have purpose for your life. You must have goals, you said, for your spiritual growth. You must make targets to grow spiritually, to develop in your relationship with God, to develop in your biblical knowledge and discernment, and establish consistent spiritual basis. Now, if anything, the habits, your spiritual habits you build while you're single, unmarried, many times marriage is actually going to try to pull at them as opposed to enhance and promote them. Did you know that? So it's unlikely that marriage is going to make you more prayerful than you are when you're single. The only way you are going to be more prayerful when you're married than when you're single is if your spouse is a prayer point. Say that. When your spouse is a very big prayer point, many times you're going to pray. So that's not a prayer you're making to develop a relationship with God, to commune with God, but it's more of begging God, change her. Lord, look at him. Lord, look at her. So many times you must develop very strong habits. While I noticed something today, not today, somewhere. It's called, how many of you know the 21-90 rule? 21-90 rule. Takes 21 days to build a habit and 90 days to make a lifestyle. Try to do the same thing for 90 days. It's actually not as difficult. You create a discipline. You create a spiritual discipline while you're single. All those videos you just do, single random. They said this Friday night I'm not going to sleep at home. I'm just gonna go sleep under one tree and just cry out to the Lord the whole night. But these days, even if I tell myself I want to do something like that, I just can't. I'll just say, let me do it at home. Right? So I encourage that specifically use your singlehood to develop a very vibrant spiritual relationship with God. Let me read the passage we didn't read last time in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 32 to 35. I don't like how sometimes churches have over glorified marriage. Now marriage is honorable, as I'll show you, but there's a way they have over glorified marriage to the point that you find younger unmarried people, they are in church and their entire focus is toward marriage. Paul writes and says this: I want you to be free from anxieties, right? The unmarried man and woman is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to please the Lord. But the married man is anxious about worldly things. Let me tell you, it is true. Even me. How to please his wife, and his interests are divided. It is true. Me, Apostle, I'm telling you, it is what? Now, his interests are divided. The unmarried or betrothed woman is anxious about the things of the Lord. She just wants to cover till we undone. You know those things where I say, I'll just take 7 days and wait on the Lord. Woman of God, you may never get a chance in your marriage to wait for 7 days unto the Lord. The Lord may be willing for you to wait, but your husband may not be patient to wait. Selah. Look at this. He's anxious about the things of the Lord, how to be holy in body and spirit. But the married woman is anxious about worldly things, how to please her husband. I say this for your own benefit, not to lay any restraint upon you, but to promote good order and to secure your undivided devotion to the Lord. The truth is, there's a level of undivided devotion to the Lord you have when you're unmarried. That the truth is, if you had that level of undivided devotion when you are married, you'll be selfish, you'll be not wise, and you'll be on, say, slippery ground. I'm telling you something I don't think you've ever had. Can I tell you the truth? Is me telling you? If you were married and you had completely undivided attention to the Lord, it's going to be at the expense of your marriage or your family. It is impractical. What do I mean? I don't mean that you cannot love the Lord a lot in your marriage and serve the Lord a lot in your marriage. What I mean is, you cannot have undivided. You have to divide time to give your wife, time to give to your marriage, time to give to your children. That's a division I'm talking about. While when you're single, you can decide to go 100% to the Lord. When you're a married man, however much you love the Lord, you're thinking about how your family will eat. If you are unmarried, you can wake up in the morning and say, I'm giving away all my money to God. Did you know you can do that? When you're married, you can tell your wife, we're giving away all our money to the Lord, and she will say to Nariach. And it will only take a wicked man to not consider what his family will eat in the name of giving all to the Lord. So this is This is part of the imbalance which some people who have gone on the extreme have done, and they have frustrated their marriages. So you have a person who is so devoted to the Lord, but that has come at the expense of his home. And the children hate them. Your wife hates you, but the church loves you. Meanwhile, the Lord doesn't want one side to love you. He also doesn't expect you to commit to only one side. He wants you in all those relationships. Remember in our worship of Yahweh? Your family and how you deal with it is part of your devotion and worship to Yahweh. Selah. So, moving on. So, when you are still unmarried, you must set this order in your life. When you set this order in your life, it is also easy for you to identify who fits this order. Now you say, well, what is marriage? Marriage is about purpose. There's some things we say ambiguously. What do you mean, sir? Marriage is about purpose. What is purpose? Well, my purpose is to be a ballerina. So what do? You marry. Somebody told me a story about Sissy Winans. I don't know how true it is, but I think it's true. I think she said it. My wife told me how she first put on hold her singing, traveling ministry when her husband planted a church to just be there with him and support him. For how long? 10 years. No touring, no what. The mighty Sissy Winans. No touring, no what. Just there to support her husband. They were saying, how can I? Everybody has to be their man. This misogynistic, suppressionistic. And people rant all over X. Even you, all of us have to bring something on the table, what the table is shaking or whatever the table is about. The reason is people have not first done these evaluations in their singleness. Now, someone has told you ambiguously, marry a woman of God. That's how you marry a woman of God who's called it's going to be touring or going around preaching. Your ego is very fragile. You know where you're going. You know where you're going. You see, you wanted a woman of God, but you didn't want this kind of woman of God. What else? We talked about develop your character. Learn integrity. Learn self-control. Young men, you learn sexual self-control in singleness, not in marriage. Marriage does not eliminate lust. Marriage does not take away lust. Marriage does not take away all the other beautiful women in the world. When you're single, you learn how to close your eyes to other beautiful women. I don't know if ladies usually don't have these issues. Maybe if they did, it's not that much. So you learn to possess your vessel while you're still unmarried. Otherwise, when you get married, you just have a license. And interestingly, someone told me these days, people target married people because they have no baggage. Yeah. There are ladies out there who like married men. There are gentlemen out there who like married women. So if you think marriage is going to protect you, you may not laugh. It does not protect you. I mean, it's better than being single in helping some of those passions, but it never eliminates them. You have to grow and you have to be dealing with the flesh. You have to learn how to handle your flesh. Okay? What else? You build your career when you're single. Build your skill. Get your PhD. Right? Study. Do the extra class. Man, they call it adult education. It's tough. There's a program I wanted to enroll for. I started looking at the credit units and the what and the years. I'm like, man, do I have the facilities for this? It's just harder to do some of the things with given more responsibility, which comes your way. It means you're going to sleep less. Some of you, this is the most sleep you'll ever sleep in your life. At this level where you are. When you have your first child, man, you'll say we'll never have another one. I guarantee you. That thing will cry. It has the most nauseating cry. It has a cry which was like manufactured in a chemistry lab that they did. You know the cry which you, however wicked you are, you can't keep sleeping. That's the kind of cry newborns have. And when children come in, they will just mess up your whole rhythm. Someone rather change. Someone I know just recently became a father. I was telling him, bro, your life has changed forever. Remember in chemistry how they said chemical reactions, the irreversible ones? I told him you will never be the same again. Never. From now onwards, you're daddy. And your life has changed. To think about yourself is almost wicked when you're a parent. Like everything. Won't focus. My children's fees. Where are they going? When you become a parent, you think when they grow up you stop. No. You keep worrying about them. Then they hand over the worry to their grandchildren. You take it over. And that's it. Until you leave this world. You'll always be concerned about your children. If you can avoid it, don't marry. Not because marriage is bad, but because it changes your life. And it will cause you to change. If you don't change, you will fail miserably. So sometimes they call it growing up. They say what? You have grown up. I think when you're single, you can just eat Rolex. You eat this. You eat grasshoppers for lunch. You just wake up and say, bro, where are you? You go. That spontaneity, you talk on phone the whole night. You watch everything and you just buy clothes every month. Some of you enjoy your last buying. You will start repeating them. You say, what's the big deal of many clothes? You started counting. Until you ask, Inyanya muzikozesa mutya? How are you using tomatoes? You know, things like that. Sukari, tetwakagula sukari. Everything, toilet paper. Guys, how are you using? You will do a class at home of how to use. You will do a class of how to switch off lights. You press here. When you're done, you press. You see? You see this young guy? He asked for Weetabix, they put for him. He leaves it there, no? Do you know, I never ate Weetabix. But the joys outweigh the ills. Okay? And I think that's how God has designed it. There's a consolation in these things that still you can't find in your singleness. And when you're single, some of those joys that come with family, with someone who cares about you. Like some of you fall sick, nobody cares. Oh yeah, oh nyamazi. Like, it's nobody to touch you, nothing. Right? So that I'm sorry. So like it's not fun to fall sick, right? Nobody has ever brought for you anything like a plate of fruits, you know. So there are those other good things which, yeah. But when you are single, this is the consolation. Well, it may not be fully. You can get married, right? The time will reach, or a time can come, and you get married. As the married, we can't get unmarried. So in other words, you can't be like us, we can't be like you. Unless, of course, under extreme circumstances. The only way for me, a married person, to become single again is extremely painful. Whichever way it is, it's painful. And that pain never leaves you. I've heard from people who have gone through a divorce. Oh, this is like the worst. People will tell you the price of a divorce is worse than the process of reconciliation. So to become single, whichever way you become single again after you're married, is painful. The other one is that the death of your spouse is even worse. It never leaves people the same. So, if anything, you are at least safe. You can become married. You have some kind of control in your life. Selah. So, develop yourself in this time. Grow. Build your dreams. Build good habits. Some of you need to learn how to come back home. Gentlemen, you need to learn how to come back home while you are still unmarried. You tell yourself at 7 p.m., I've gone back. So that you don't struggle in marriage. It's 10, you are still somewhere malluding around. All over the place. You learn how to come back home. Let me tell you something. If you have not had the best example of marriage while you're growing up, I mean, like, especially in the home you grew up in, you must do double work. Don't assume because I'm not doing anything I saw my father doing, anything I saw my mother doing, which I didn't like, I won't do it again. Because chances are people become like their parents if they don't deliberately seek for other godly models. Through deliberate scripture, through study, through classes. You get classes. You get the same way. You see the same way sometimes you study the word to understand how to play instruments, how to do what. You need also to study. I did those things before I was married. How to be a good husband. How to be a good father. You start to learn. You start to do classes. You start to look at. You get mentors who are doing it. People whose marriages you look up to. Start to deliberately take note of how they do it. Ask questions. See how they treat their spouse. You can't just be there. I think someone who has been married 25 years, whose marriage you find out, they say, sure, all of us have legs. You know that stupid stuff. All of us have hands. Even everybody does their own things. If you're single. Sure. Osala wa chenjala. Simusajja mukulu. You know. Can't he do it his own self? Avoid these social media blogs, which seem to be very progressive, but they are having some very toxic conversations about relationships, about marriages, about partnerships, about submission, about allowing someone to lead. Those things are not good. But I'm sorry to say this, I'm not saying it generally. I think, ladies, you ought to be doubly careful. Because many women are saying things they are not doing. Why are you like that? I asked my wife, why do women hate each other so much? She says, I don't cook. At home. He's running around preparing 3-course meals. Meanwhile, she's misleading her friend that don't allow. Whatever you do for a man, Ale, he will always want you to do it. And even men don't take that nonsense. That if you show someone you love them too much, they will take you for granted. Well, that's not up to you. Yours is to love them too much. The grantedness is theirs. Don't say, Kabagwa chitundu, chitundu, chitundu. I'm sorry. Say Malayo. People think that when they don't overfinish, that when things don't work out well, they will be somehow. It won't hurt, or it will hurt less. My principle, you don't have to take it. My principle is when I am in relationships, I try to go all the way. I do it even when I'm pastoring people. So that if someone decides to move on, I have zero regrets. Some people have accused me of moving on too easily. I think it is, I gave myself. I don't want to say, if I had handled Brother David at least. If at least I told him I'm proud of him. No, I tell him what he does with that information. Mm-hmm. If he wants to take me for granted, I have told him. I like to live like that. It's a thing I do. I'll be the thing. But this thing of telling my wife I love her too much, she may take me for granted. Well, I'm still going to tell her I love her. In fact, if I tell her in the morning and I don't tell her in the evening, she will tell me, no, you haven't told me. But between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., something apparently changed. I say, I'll say again, I love you. Yeah. When you get into those relationships like that, if someone calls you by your name, you just know. You don't done something wrong. If they text you and there is no qualifying word, like babe, honey, something like, oh. So in your singleness, you have to plan that. Avoid making marriage an idol. When you're too desperate, you make wrong choices. Marriage is not the goal. It's good to live in that balance. I have seen people compromise because they think there's nothing better out there. Do you know why? Because you're worried, who will take me? Rutamaguzi has come. I know it's not perfect. Nobody's saying they are perfect, but you're seeing significant red flags. They are too red. You can see them with your eyes closed. But you say, well, nobody's perfect, innit? Yeah, she quarrels, but I can tune her and pray. I've told you. You are not going to tune anybody, change anybody's heart in prayer. Especially after you're married. In fact, they will even start to mock you openly. You are there on your time. So, whatever you are accepting in courtship is what you are going to bear in marriage. Yeah. So you're going to bear in marriage. Now, Yahweh can work on the other person's heart in time, in disciple. But now you are going to have to be patient. Okay? So there's some things, before I married my wife, I knew she was. And some of those things have not changed. And they're not bad things. One time she asked me, what are some of the things you feel like? Well, it was something along the lines of one of those things. Do you think I should? I told her, well, and sometimes on our anniversary and those events, we get to have these deep conversations on that. I told her, well, part of me feels like this part of you is what attracted me to you. Now, again, if you change to, I don't know what I may get. So I said, these are not bad. These are like personality, personal preference things. Just be you. Maybe this is why I even love you more. Now, if I want you to change, you may become like another woman. Right? Now, I'll tell you, for instance, one of the things. My wife is not to photography. Pictures, what. Now, before I got married, I used to take lots of photos. It was important to me that the person I marry is not all over. You know? In fact, I remember I would struggle to ask her for some of her pictures when we were still in courtship. Because, honestly, she didn't have many. So, in and out when you get married, you say, can we take a photo? You just feel like you're pushed. Like, I also know if we take photos with my wife, she's going to hate 99% of them. So the process is so stressful to me of her hating every photo. I just decided, I need to be that's why some of you have come in our home, we only have our wedding photos in the house. You know, because that's who she is. She's not, some of you have not even seen her on social media do anything. And I like that part that there was a discreetness, there was, Now, everybody doesn't have to like that. Right? That is not a Bible standard. It was a Paul standard. Now, you can reach a side in marriage, now you want to change their person. But why don't you take photos? Other people are taking photos. Why aren't we? Now you are creating. And before you know it, now you create another person. Now all of a sudden your wife is all the time. Instagram is now all littered. Now other men are starting to think. Now you also get concerned. Who are you taking those photos for? You see, so you are creating problems for yourself. So I said, that one, I've liked it. Let's maintain it. Okay? So don't seek to change it. And let me tell you this. Sometimes people try to change their spouses because they go into environments and people talk about all these things and then you feel like you guys are missing that thing in your relationship. But you didn't need it. Right? It was not you guys. We don't like that. But someone adds something like, sister, you need to go out. I mean, go out there. Be like, get out there. You go to, like, how will you change the world which you are not in? Before you know it, Sister Tezra wants to go to Silo. She's go to Silo just to get out there. She reaches there, she's like, bruh, they say me. But she's just trying to get out there. But that's not you. But that's not you. But people said, you need to get out there. You need to put on, you ever put on trousers. Just get a skirt, and you start to over-adjust, and it's not you. Then now you create a person who is not you. Then the other person likes the new person you have created. Now when you get married, you revert. The person is like, who are you? I never knew you. Like the people who bleach. Meanwhile, the genetics are saying you're black. But Sister Tracy has what? Become light-skinned Zari Pro Max. Now you get married, you give birth to black children. The husband is shocked. It's like, are these my children? Meanwhile, this complexion is chemical. it was altered after. Let me tell you, there's a person who will like your personality. I'm not saying an evil personality. My personality is saying, Busungu. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about whether you are upbeat or you're calm. There are people for all those different. Who like them. Be like, hey mom, I wish I was like Sister now. Wow, she's so yeah, she's so wow. Some people feel like that is too much energy for me. Right? They prefer calm. So you don't have to over-adjust yourself because this is what is working. Oh yeah, I tell people, you are lying to me. You go look at the different churches, live streams, the couples that are presenting who are getting married. None of those ladies looks extraordinary. Have you ever noticed? There are no lights, very brown, white. They are all the ladies you want them to be like that. They are simple ladies. They are simple gentlemen. It's not the guys with a very thick beard. Have you seen the ones you like? With the beard all over the face? Hey, you don't. So, while you're preparing for marriage, how many of you want to get married? Don't fear. Want to get married. You never want to get married, the rest of you. You're liars. It's not a thing to count the cost. Count the cost. It's like building a tower. Count the cost. Calculate what it will take. Please, especially ladies, do not be on pressure to commit. It's things where after now 8 months you tell me, I want to talk to you. No go up. No court. He goes to church. I don't refuse people's relationship choice. Once you come to me and you already tell me God has said, God does what? I say, why? You go with God. Who am I to come against what God has said? You waited after 8 months to tell me. We are. Yeah, he's a Rasta, but when it comes to these things, I'm almost at the level of not being shocked anymore. I kept my heart somewhere from shock. Let me stop that one there. Financially ready, emotionally mature, spiritually aligned. Do you share foundational values of the faith? The vision of life? What are our goals? What are our family goals? What are our career goals? It's a man, I remember asking my wife then when we started Courtship, she's like, yeah, so I want to go out, do my master's for like 2 years. I think I was too candid. I told her, when you go, you won't find me. I was being honest. When we got married, he now says she can't go anywhere. We are going together. Amen. No, but it's just being honest. I mean, you can have your goals. You want to go do your master's, it's fine. Me, my timeline, I was ready to marry. And I wanted to marry. And I wanted to marry her. If she was not ready, it is also what? We can find someone who is. The Lord who manufactured this ready one, this one. There's a pastor always had a phrase that God's girls ain't few. Literally used to say it like that. God's girls ain't few. Right? Yeah. But this is all about vision. That is, some men are insecure about women who are go-getters, career women, women who have their money. You need to be sure the person you're thinking about settling with is okay. You are here, you want to become an MP, your husband is saying, no, you don't want. He doesn't want. He wants a home. Now, you don't laugh at the man who wants a homemaker. That is his choice. That is the kind of person. It's a value thing. Nobody has to. And those women are there. Even those who push their wives to go, get these accreditations, do their best, do whatever they, professionally, go to the highest level. They're there. I'm one of those men. So, but not every man is like that. I like to always push my wife to get smarter and get more accreditation and get more school and things like that. Now, these are things you need to talk about before you do. And health. Health is also important. The more and more churches these days are encouraging people to do a health, what they call it? Some kind of premarital health checkup. Is somebody carrying genes of vesicular? Do they have any congenital diseases and so on and so forth? Those things are important. Someone say, "What fetuli balalu?" So, you just, someone can say, "What is their HIV status?" When you are excited, you can say, "No, I believe God that." Well, first, calm down. We need to go to a health professional and they tell us exactly what it is we will be getting into. Not just on the faith part is one thing. But if you go ahead to marry this kind of person, this and this is what you're exposing yourself to. This is how you live, and so on and so forth. Please, 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 for the love of God, do not make a marriage decision which is fully based on emotions or primarily based on emotions. Don't marry someone because of how they make you feel. You know what I mean? They can give you butterflies in your stomach. Don't marry them because of physical attraction only. Physical attraction is good, but let it not be your primary. If it is your primary, you may survive for 1 month because you're going to find another more physical attractive person than the one you chose. My wife doesn't have to tell me that I'm the most handsome man in the world she has ever seen. I don't even give her time to tell me that because I know it is a lie. But also, I don't need that vibe. See, that kind of insecurity where you still find me handsome. You still find me handsome. It's a lie. You are not the most handsome man. In fact, you may not even be the most handsome man she has seen that day. Look at the one that day. If your confidence comes from there, do you still find me handsome? You're going to get married and you're going to get a pot belly. Man? Oh. I always play with that. I don't. You never married me for my looks. Don't even ever lie to me for that. But no, I said, nah, bro. It's okay. It's well, right? So, Bambi. And gentlemen, it is worse because the women metamorphose quicker and more. She can get pregnant and the nose can migrate from here to here. She can add like 40 kilograms undisturbed. Hey! Just like one that looks like a drum. You may run from home. But you know the process of giving you children, it takes a lot from women. And you have to be sensitive. You can't go out and start complaining. I married her, she was slender. Now what is this? Meanwhile, even the way you talk about your wife's weight has to be very sensitive. In fact, a wise man won't say, don't tell your wife she's fat. If you want peace. But if you feel like I have to speak the truth, or no, we are in the light. We have the Ten Commandments say don't lie. It's okay. I don't know. I forget what pastor was saying. He said it's in marriage where God allows us to lie. I think it's marriage, and he says it's okay. You tell your wife she's the most beautiful woman. When they're asking you which dress to put on, how do I look in this one? Wonderful. What about this one? Good. Which one should I wear? I think both are good. Aha, that is a man who is learning the art of. But with your shoes, see how you bring in the one you like? But I feel like with these shoes, I think the other one may bring out the shoes and the color of your eyes. Katobo is a wisdom. Amen. You know, a lot of dwelling with people in marriage is wisdom. What's the text which says husbands learn how to dwell with your wives in knowledge? You just learn how to dwell with the person you're with. Knowledge. Men, we don't change a lot. Women do. I don't mean like change in preferences, change in the mood can dictate what they like to eat, what they like to watch. Men are constant. Like if you learn your husband in the first 2 years of marriage, that is a chigai in 50 years. He likes to watch sports. He likes to repeat the sports. He likes to watch the commentary on the sports he has just watched. If he likes a certain food, he will like that food until he go into heaven. If he likes, some men can keep a shirt, a vest for 15 years until you throw it away. So they are very simple creatures. Honestly, we are very, very, very consistent. Ladies are not consistent. Like me, every time I go to Mesa, I know what I want to eat. Every time I go to restaurants, I know what I want to eat. I know which restaurant I want to eat from. My wife, on the other hand. So the question of what should we eat is really her question. What should we eat? Because me, I can eat the same thing every Sunday for 7 years. Every morning I have the same routine. I like my coffee a certain way. I like everything my wife can tell you what I like. She knows it in order. Me, I know a number of things she likes. So when I want to surprise her and take her out to a place, it is harder. You get it? But that's part of the beauty in the relationship, that it does not become very professional. That you have not studied it. It's not like do this, we do this, we do this. So that spontaneity, that change adds some of the good things. Okay. So, guys, please watch out for red flags. Please watch out for red flags. Financial recklessness. This person is always out of money in the first week. How are you using the money? Because those issues can come up. Now, when you get married and the money is together, if you have a reckless spending partner, they're going to recklessly spend resources. Do you know what that is going to cause you? That may cause you to want to create a separator, finances undisclosed. Then you bring trust issues into your relationship, which you don't want. So rather we deal with these things early. Learn how to budget. Okay. how to delay gratification. If your wife is too materialistic or your husband is the person you want to get married to is too materialistic, that's a red flag. Kati akutadde ku pressure iPhone 17. Every status is an orange phone. Then they will start on nudges. See what other people are doing for the God win. Now what I say God win. Baba bagamba gwe. Okay, baba bagamba ni obo nabu God win when they put flowers on the status. When they put what? Emma is you. Hey. Someone who doesn't care where you are financially, as long as they gratify their need to stand out, that they also have a Chanel purse. Chanel or Jimanibwe? Chanel. So to never social rent. The girl is on. Other people are going to this. For us, we are. If you are wise, cut your losses quickly and what? If somebody does not have self-control, be careful. If there's always pressure for physical intimacy before marriage, red flag. If they have addictive patterns to substances, to pornography, gambling, red flag. There is no amount of money which you get which removes the addiction to gambling. There's a recent scandal in the NBA right now. A player who is earning $26 million a year is being arrested for gambling and match fixing for what? $200K? $20K? So it is a real serious issue. Okay? Focus on what lasts. Please focus on what lasts. Faith. Quality conversation, character and integrity. Those are things that can bedrock a marriage and a relationship so well. Faith and values, quality conversation, meaningful talk. That's why sometimes it's very good that at least the two people intellectually you are somewhere where you can sustain conversations together. Well, you can sort of talk on the same level, so to speak. Do you enjoy the other person's perspective, the other person's mind? It does not mean that you have the same hobbies. My wife likes watching people eating. Yeah. There's something called mukbangs. I didn't even know it is a thing. Oli agule ebintu ebyo. You know it. The person buys things to eat, they put there. They just be on camera eating. And there are 200,000 views. I was like, this is... And she enjoys it. She watches it when she's fasting. She watches it when she's eating. She watches it when she's stressed. That thing can never step on my TV. Beat up. I could not understand it. That's a preference. I watch American football and people are hitting each other and she says, ooh, it's too violent. That's different. But those drives, do we have conversations? And even when everything has stopped, do we have conversations? Can we talk on certain things? How do we see when it comes to those topics? Do I value her perspective and opinion? Amen. So like you're introducing yourself, the what? The what? The what? But also that, like... Imagine now, like my wife is on TikTok watching those housemaids or whatever they are, all that local gossip. I don't know what it is. It nauseates me. So imagine. So, but again, there are people who can handle that kind of jebali. Not me. You get. So quality conversation. Character and integrity. For me, character was like up there. Up. Like, as in 2 up. It was good and 0.5 below character. I mean, that's 0.5. Character. Integrity. How does somebody carry themselves? Do you notice the things you can observe about people in shared spaces? You don't have to say, what is your character? Tell me. Do you have good character? Are you a fool? You can't, of course, you can't know someone's character on a date. This is the things you're watching. You're looking at. They told someone to do something. The way they looked at their leader, they said, "Me, don't joke with me. I saw you guys at Fortismos. You like me, I don't." And you say, "Eh?" You say, "Why?" It's first wait, sister is still in the process of conversion. Don't make God speak because she's slender. I feel like God is telling me. Or you be honest with yourself. Is your eyes and your flesh. Character. Proverbs 22:1. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Do you know people always know people? You know, sometimes we have made this thing so difficult. Just find from where the people are from, the environment they are in. What do people even say about them? How do people even in their environment, do they love them? Are they people who bring life? You know? We have over made this thing so difficult than it has to be. The reason I'm making it so difficult is because we refuse to acknowledge that we are being led by the flesh as opposed to being led by the Spirit. And being led by the Spirit is not some esoteric mukamandaga. The Spirit is, we are guided by the Word. We are guided by the inward witness. We are guided by how those things come together. And then vision, especially if you sense you have a call of God in your life to do some of these things, like maybe full-time or it will be good that the person knows and they are aware. Because, you know, all of us can serve God, but there are levels of which serve God. If you're going to be a pastor, if you're going to be a ministry leader, there are decisions that come along with that it would be unfair to not prepare the other person for that kind of life. You know, right now I'm married, but my wife is ready, at least internally, for us to relocate anywhere. You may think that's a very small thing, but it's not. I know a story of a woman, they are married. The husband got an opportunity, got a job in Kenya, the Ugandans in Kenya. But this lady is so close to her family. Sisters, actually, I think it was sisters. They grew up to sisters, and they were like this. Do you know? She was really considering letting the husband go alone for her to stay and be with. Now you may say, like, are you married to your sister? That's something which may seem obvious. It can be obvious to you because of your background, your training. But perhaps this is something you have prepared someone for. Now, thank God, maybe she got the wisdom and moved. She accepted to move the husband. You think, you're sending your husband alone. You are staying here because you can't stay far from your sisters. You marry the sisters. That gentleman will find another person there. And not because they went to. You opened the door for that to happen. So this is a part of where the vision comes in. Where am I headed as a man? Can this woman follow me to where I am headed. Don't assume. Have a conversation. You can bring up hypothetical scenarios. But if God asked us to move to Guru, would you be willing to follow me? Now, for some people, it's how adamant they are. No! For me, my life, my what, my everything, you just know, okay, this person may be good here, but seeing how God is walking with me and working with me, we may have a conflict. So have a clear purpose. Test a person's character. And then plan realistically, lastly. Plan realistically. Discuss finances openly. Create a budget. Talk about where you live, where you work, where you'll go to church. That's another big boy. You think, I'm just going to go and marry sister so-and-so from Light Environment Church. And me, I go to Fortismos. We'll just have a discussion before. That may not be a major deal breaker, but have a discussion about it. Are you willing to? And sometimes there's concession. Depending where the relationship is, it may be concession. Because again, in marriage, many times it's about concession. You give some to get some. You concede on this, on that, on that. Now, if you are a minister in a church, it becomes difficult, especially if you are the husband, for you to go where your wife is. It will be expected that she joins you where you are. Now, there are some places I don't expect you to be falling in love with people from there. Already that love has a problem. Already that love has what? But again, like I also tell people, start from what someone believes before you go to where they fellowship. Sometimes someone fellowships in a good place, but they have wrong beliefs. In fact, sometimes they don't go there. They are just attaching. And then sometimes, some of these places we think that they are not like us churches. They have some of the most godly people you'll ever find. Some of the most godly people who love the Lord, who are committed to the Lord, who are serving the Lord. But that's not, so that's what should have led. But then, now we have a discussion. Which church are we going to go to? No, there is no rule in the Bible that both of you have to go to the same church. Did you know? But for the purposes of unity, oneness, so that it will be good that we are together in one place for agreement. You get it? Selah.